Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, so welcome everybody. Great to have you on board. Let's speak about the future of leadership. It's a bit a provocative title, I know. Of course, it's human, but I wanted to make it attractive. And we are a consultancy company, as I already mentioned before to some of the people here. We work all over Europe, Latin America, doing quite a few activities, always related for reorganizing companies into Agile methods. And our certifications are not only Management 3.0, we're pretty wide. We're involved in several organizations, and we work in very different sector. I always say agility, Agile methods are democratic. All sectors are impacted. Now, coming back to our subject, I'm not going to go into technical details. We could, if we have a discussion afterwards. It's a bit more of a thought provoker where I'm going. I will give some details, but not too much into technique. It's more about thought provoking what I'm going to go into today. Anybody here, please raise your hand if you have used AI today. Tiago, what were you doing all day? All right, now, did you use it on your own or together with your team or together with your organization?
Own.
Alone.
Yeah, alone, because I am looking for another employment, so I have no team at all.
That's a good excuse.
Yeah.
But this is one of the situations I have in most of our customers that we see people using artificial intelligence somehow, somewhere. If you are lucky, they're using some paid version, which is properly been applied. I hope you're not throwing the information in some free version of ChatGPT. But in most of the organizations, we do not find some setup where people team up, or even the departments, or even the complete, there is a strategy for the complete company. How do we work with AI? So each of us asking, throwing some prompts. Most of the people are so far, and some use Claude, another use Copilot. But that's not the point. That's not the point of in a company with 100 people, 100 individual appliances from artificial intelligence. It's about having a strategy for the whole company, and that's leadership work. Hmm? Now, the question people will come to you as a leader is, what if the people we're working with, I'm saying people, but could be robots, could be agents, could be that we don't see them at all, but they are there. What if there are not only humans there? Hmm? That is what we're going to be facing. It's coming up whether we like it or not. If you observe the technological disruptions, which this article is based on the paper of Carlota Perez, um, you have a lot of versions with technological revolutions. There are people speaking about industry 1 to 4. Here we have technological revolutions. There's 5 of them. I really don't care how many we count and how many versions we can get. Interesting that Carlota has introduced for each revolution installation period, a turning point, and a deployment period. And regarding digitalization, we are more or less in the turning period or turning point, arriving to the deployment period. Well, little by little, most of the people are digitalized. I still have a company who are still on paper introducing digitalization, and there is a lot of resistance. So I had to smile. I said, how cute. Now, the next step is already there. This is not in Carlota's paper, but it's there. The age of AI. We could call it the sixth technological revolution. The turning point has been calculated for around 2040, although Jürgen said it's going to be earlier. And at some point, we will have a deployment period where the co-intelligence, we will be together driving the decisions. But that is very far in the future. Let's go back to now. What do we do now? What do we do the next week with the situation of emerging introduction of artificial intelligence in the companies? That we are now there where the digitalization was in the 80s. Now, how do we digitalize the company? Okay, now it is how do we introduce artificial intelligence? This is more important than how are we going to coexist in 1945, in 2045. I'm not sure if I will be there. So at this point, it's about how do we introduce and secure there is some sort of system, and this is leadership. Hmm? The first question any employee is going to ask, okay, well, what what do we keep? What do they give out? And it is leadership responsibility. Here we have two dimensions. On the one hand, in N3K, we speak about the granularity, could be personal, team, organizational, company-wide. We have different granularities, not necessarily hierarchy. Which is true, that is a leadership decision to secure this multi-level impact is control. But we also have the different mandates. We have a second dimension. Are we using artificial intelligence to take disciplinary decisions like to hire a certain person or to fire another person? Are we using artificial intelligence in the operative mandate to decide which product we're going to send to the market? Are we using artificial intelligence for the modulation of our software, for the architecture of the software? Or are we using the, I'm going to show you one possible organizational authority, and we're using artificial intelligence to coordinate the teams, to coordinate the community of practice, for example. So we have to think in two dimensions, not only the granularity, also in which authority area do we want to put and think twice before starting in the disciplinary authority. Maybe that should be the last one to arrive. The most spoken example when we speak about introducing agility, we mostly speak for the first about IL team. We still don't dare to speak about the complete department, about the complete area. Now we start with teams. We're happy if we go move on from individuals to teams. I know all the individuals or many individuals are using it. Okay, enough. Now, how can we integrate the artificial intelligence as contributor of the team? And this is happening already. This is happening in many companies. This is my colleague Norma, who is unfortunately or fortunately running a course right now. This is a pilot in Switzerland, a company they had. You see a robot at the very right, and this robot should move through the blue passage. And the code to make move the robot is being developed by 5 team members, the 4 persons you see, and 1 agent who is in the laptop. So there's here a 5th member, actually is the one producing the code. The 4 members are advising, and the agent is throwing the code so that the robot can move. So this is, of course, a pilot. It's not but many companies are already telling me, Almudena, yes, we have it. Even companies with NA to N using a tool, they create a complete team only with agents. It might be second, third, fourth step. Let's start just to introduce some agents. And here we have from Jürgen Appello a very wide possibility of personas. I think Jürgen has done a good job. Probably there are more than that if we start thinking, but it's already quite a help to select. So the first thing I tell to the people is like, before introducing AI agent anywhere in your work, in your leadership, in your team, select 1 or 2, and then think of the 2 dimensions. Where do you want to start? Do you want to start at team level? I recommend it before organizational level. And which mandate do you want to get started with? Most easy one is probably the organizational mandate. So this is also something which we need to introduce when considering which person to take. Think in which area is going to be this persona, or are you covering them all, or are you very clearly keeping the blue one for yourself and first having the operative and technical and organizational in the hands for agents? That could be a good starting point. This is one possible example. If we have a manager who says, okay, I'm going to put in my team an idea generator, because this is one of our teams which is developing new features for our product. But at the same time, I'm going to have a product critic who, after all the ideas that one agent creates, makes on based on the market information the product critic has. He gives some feedback. In this case, the idea generator will be the technical mandate and product mandate. Product critic will be an operative mandate. And then we have a decision optimizer. If we have multiple variables, we could have somebody to check on what you have done. Probably decision optimizer is the first GPT all consultants have. Whenever I take a decision, I have already GPT with all the information of each customer, and I say, tell me something about this. What do you think? So here we also have to this, where is this decision optimizing going? To the operational, to the technical, or to the disciplinary mandate? So here could be one possible combination. Many questions come up. Well, what is exactly an agent, the difference to the GPT? And here's a beautiful example. What we have is the evolution. First, we had a tool that was the famous TomTom. No, we had it was just maps. It was just maps. Then it moved to the GPS, which is a guidance, an assistant. An assistant has information and propose something. And an agent does not longer propose; it already takes decision. So this is the evolution you have from having a chatbot, from having a GPT, or having an agent. Putting an agent together, once you have a clear GPT, is pretty simple. You just have connectors and special tools which help you connect all different sources, including Jira or Slack or whatever you might need. So putting an agent together is not rocket science. Once you clearly know what you want the agent to do. Some things we have been doing. That is our DIO. That is our agent for daily stand-ups in our company. That's, by the way, that's us. And well, we're always traveling, or we hardly make it to meet, even if we're living in the same town. Funny enough, we never make it to meet, and having a daily sync was becoming a nightmare. So we have now our daily bot, that is the DIO, and it's an autonomous GPT agent which gathers our information, makes a summary, and sends us. So that is the daily of today. That is what each of you will be doing, and it's the blockers we have. So it will be an excellent assistant for a Scrum Master at the beginning, or maybe for without Scrum Master for any team. It's very easy to configure. It is really 3 tools connected. Now we have a GPT fit map we have developed. One of the situations we had in one of my companies is product management asked, could you give an estimation for development of this front end or this small functionality? And the developers threw some dates. I need 12 days, 12 developing days. Okay. Now, we have developed this GPT, which has a lot of technological knowledge. We've given them all the information about Python, about JavaScript, about any programming language. And then we can give, that is the requirements. That is the estimation we receive. What do you think? Under which conditions could this make sense? And then they can say, well, if you take into consideration this test, and this test, it could be that you need some more time. So it is an advisor about an estimation for a feature or for functionality was going to be planned. And you say, how does it look like? And then it says, a bit too tight, or yeah, it should be feasible. And then we have also a GPT for OKRs. We have developed one for the company, and we give it to our customers, the template, where it supports, it's a senior OKR consultant, guides. It's just a very good prompt which has created a GPT, and it helps to keep the guidance of the OKRs. So as you can see, we're playing around. We're playing around, trying some things. And one of the main, so the people will surely come with huge ideas. Hey, we could put this in the team. Hey, we could use that. No, once we awake them and we get rid of the fear, this could work. But the ethical guidelines, they are still in the hands of the leaders. Do not forget the three main factors. AI reflects how you have trained it. There will always be a bias. The data you have given them is what this has learned. So I always try to think before giving some documentation to the AI, get through it. I think how biased I am. It's always biased. Don't don't forget this as a leader. And of course, hallucinations. We have them. I have them almost every day. I have to say, stop hallucinations. Come back to the point. Get focus. Always question, especially if it's regarding a customer information. Always question whatever you get for information. And of course, data leaks. We have in the company, we pay ChatGPT business to secure that we keep the data. There has been already at the beginning of the introduction of AI several situations with data leaks, but you have to secure whatever you're doing. It is company information, what you're probably putting into the AI. And the last one which have to be taken is the minimal viable human, the MVH. How far are we going to go? Like I already mentioned, there are teams developing software in companies which only have AI agents. I've seen this. Okay, if you're just coding and testing um, with very clear directives, probably they're saving money on software developers. Yes, but how far can we go? And this is what we call the minimal viable human, and something leadership has to look in. Describe the minimal level of human connection to secure creativity, empathy, alive. Don't leave maybe one person aligned with three or four agents, or maybe this person loves it. So check on what is the minimal viable human your company requires. Now, some first steps. The first thing we teach our customers is to write a prompt. As stupid as this is, it is the first biggest problem we have. People throwing the quality of your question will be the quality of the answer. If you ask some rubbish in some unstructured form, AI will do their very best to give you some answer, who knows what. So the first thing we teach in any leadership workshop is secure, to make very clear with these core elements, what do you exactly want? Give the context. Is it about in which context are you asking? What is the goal of your question? For which rule is it meant? Give all the data and documents this need to understand the question. How do you want to have the question, the answer? These are very, once you start doing it, I have here a template. And once you start doing it, it very quickly gets some structure. And then you just don't ask, ChatGPT, answer this. You gives I'm trying to complete this. This is the person I'm speaking about. That is what I want you to do exactly. This is the background you have. All these requirements are needed. So those are the way to make really good prompting, and then you have really good answer. So that could be the first step. Otherwise, summarizing what you have to take into consideration, uh, think whatever you are doing with putting AI in teams, you are putting organizational agents, there has to be at some point business value. Not that we're having a huge amount of fun, but we haven't improved the value of the company, of the products, of whatever we're doing. So we have to be careful that people are not just playing with AI. It has to have some business value because it's going to be expensive to introduce it. Now, secure, we already mentioned, AI is changing daily. So we need to really secure, I won't say send them to a course, but if you send them once a year to course, in these 12 months, so much happened. So maybe you need to work every week to watch some AI video of what's happening in the world. Secure your people are constantly upskilling, not just go to a course and do nothing else for 12 months. They will be overall. Uh, Start smart. I will gave you some very, very small ways to get started. I showed you a small to small agents, one GPT, some prompting. Start very smart. Don't start with a huge company preparation of what the strategy is going to be like. Start very, very small. Maybe this daily sync dio. It's a good start. I think Norma spent 3 or 4 hours setting it, and then it was done. Mm. Uh, Velocity. If we start preparing the strategy of introducing AI, and it's going to be discussed in the next management meeting, which is happening in October, it's going to be a problem. So whatever you do, maybe you have to accept fail fast rather than waiting for the perfect setup to come. Secure. I already mentioned it with the prompt. Secure AI has the right context. If it's working for your company, has to really have very clear what's the context working. If it's working for the team, make sure you teach your AI which team they're in, what's the goal of the team. And then you might have it, for sure, you end up having it every day. Our daily, our Dayo says good morning everybody to every day to me and to the whole company. So I use the 3 agents, I think almost every day, but we share them with the rest of the company. And yeah, the last one is a bit more poetically, try things out, risk. But at the end of the day, think of the risks. Don't lose control. Whatever you do, do something. Don't wait for things to happen by themselves or just everybody using AI however they want. Mm. Um, that was what I wanted to present to you. And I'm open for any questions. Thank you very much for attending. At this point, I'm going to stop the recording.